meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order, and the chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilman Harris.
Here.
Councilman Williams is absent today. Councilman Avery.
Here.
Eccles.
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present, and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask David Lawson to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we're thankful that you've allowed us to see another day. We ask that your hand be involved with all matters concerning the city of Gadsden, and we ask that all of our leaders at the local, state, and federal level act in a way that is pleasing in your sight. And we ask that your hands be involved in crisis as it takes place now in foreign lands, and we ask that you continue to watch over our troops and our diplomats who act in the interests of peace. And we will be ever grateful and happy to give you the praise and the glory. In your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and the city council meeting held on February the 25th.
So moved.
Second. Clerk, take the vote.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of the accounts for the week of February the 21st through the 27th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
And those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
There's not anybody here from the mayor's office. I don't guess there's any. Unfinished business, we have none. 9 is a resolution approving advance for travel expense. This is for council members Avery and Harris to attend the National League Congressional Conference in Washington, D.C. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
10 is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Crescent Moon Entertainment for a summer concert series. This is for the official Jimmy Buffett tribute band to perform on Friday, August the 1st, and the amount is $5,000. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Resolution authorizing an agreement with Crescent Moon Entertainment for the summer concert series. This is for Seven Bridges Band to perform on Friday, June the 6th, and the amount is $5,000. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
This is the entertainment for the free concerts we have in the summer, and they're usually real good at the amphitheater.
You know, it's interesting. I just noticed that we've got, August, and what other month was that? June. And normally, and we're paying $5,000 each for these bands, and I'm not that familiar with the bands on a national level, but when we get local groups, we don't want to pay them but a few dollars. So maybe I need to recommend to our local groups that they need to get with Crescent Moon so they can get $5,000 to play too. Just an observance. I don't know who Crescent Moon is.
Any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
12 is a resolution authorizing acquisition of a permanent easement for a right-of-way. This authorizes the city to acquire this permanent easement on 6th Street in East Gadsden from Grissom Products, LLC, to be used as public right-of-way. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'd like for the engineer to give us an update on that.
On the road portion, Mr. Avery?
Yes, sir.
I have a meeting actually scheduled for next week. The plans and specs have been turned in to the state for the part that's going to be done on Megan Boulevard for their permitting permission. And then our portion, the plans are basically complete. We just got to meet and go over a few things that we foresee may come up during construction.
So how far off of Megan will the street go? It just go right into the, go ahead, tell us.
Yes, sir. Tying in to Megan, I believe it's approximately 300 feet, but I'll check that distance for you.
So it'll go up by Gander Mountain then?
It'll go to the entrance, yes, sir.
Okay.
On the east side of the property.
Right, on the side of the property, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I was thinking, Chad, that's going to alleviate some of the traffic, won't it? When they go in and coming back to the red light and kind of disperse them?
It'll give, yes, sir, it'll give another option.
On traffic.
That way they'll have Fifth Street, which is
Yeah.
currently being improved. They'll have a mid-block crossing,
Okay.
and then now they'll have Sixth Street as well. Yes,
And then
sir.
they can go on across to Broad Street, turn right and go across. A lot of ways that people can
Yes,
look
sir.
at traffic and not
Yes, sir.
dread going over there so much.
Try not to add to an already having a problem.
Absolutely, that's what I want to do.
Yes, sir.
Very good point.
Take the vote.
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
New business, is there any new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance that I would like to ask for unanimous consent to consider today. It's an ordinance, number 046, adding a new section to the city code regarding storage of trailers, campers, and boats on right-of-way.
You got a second?
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have a unanimous vote for consideration.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, what this ordinance does is update our parking, city-related parking ordinances to indicate that non-motorized vehicles cannot be parked on the right-of-way. That means, boat trailers, trailers and things of that nature should not be and cannot be parked on the streets. They must be put on private property.
Any other discussion?
Mr. President, as I said upstairs, and I'll repeat it again until we get some type of concrete situation with public right-of-ways. If we're going to enforce the laws of the right-of-ways and for the city, then I think the city also needs to be responsible for making sure that those right-of-ways are cut properly and regularly. And we're not doing that at this point in time, but we want to make sure people don't park their cars and all the other things on the right-of-way, but we don't want to go in and take care of cutting the grass and making sure that's taken care of. I just think that's a double standard, and we need to work something out so
Well, in most
we can be
cases,
consistent.
and the law is that the right-of-way in front of your house is your responsibility to keep it mowed. That's a very small part of, if you turned it over to the city to do everybody's right-of-way, you never would get anything run, I don't think.
I hear what you're
But
saying,
anyway.
and I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying that we're limiting the people's right-of-way the people's right to put boats and motors and everything else out there. But then we don't want to clean up and cut it when it's incumbent upon us to cut. For instance, there are some ditches where they don't have sidewalks that we don't keep up, and it's in the city's right-of-way. And that's what I'm reference to. Why don't we make sure that we take care of those ditches and those other things that's in the city right-of-way if we're going to enforce that the people don't be able to do stuff in the right-of-way? It's just a double standard. And
Let me ask the attorney. I've been told that actually you own the property, you own the right-of-way. The property owner owns it. The city has a right-of-way on your property. So it's your responsibility to keep your property up. Is that somewhere near right, attorney?
It's similar to an easement. Now, a homeowner, actually, yes, in a sense. But like an easement, the homeowner cannot build a structure along the right-of-way. The city or state, if it's on state right-of-way, has the ability to come in and build, like, say, a shoulder to the road, or build something adjacent to that roadway, all the way along the right-of-way. So it's, yes, you own it, but no, you don't.
Very good.
Oh, that's
And Mr.
real clear.
Very clear. And Mr. President, I would just like to reiterate that the ordinance here is as much of a safety item as it is anything else. When you turn a corner at an intersection and there's an unmanned trail out there, then you're limiting sight, on that street. So it's just as much of a safety issue as it is anything else.
Don't get me wrong, I'm supporting this ordinance. I don't have a problem with the ordinance. I just have a problem with the double standard that we use when it comes down to taking care of right-of-ways, that's all.
Lee, does this have to do with if somebody builds a mailbox, a brick mailbox on that piece of property, they're not supposed to do that, or put up a mailbox on that piece of property?
You can
It's like if you, for example, if a homeowner wanted to build a brick mailbox along the city right-of-way, of course, the city would allow him to do that, but in the event the city needed to use that right-of-way to install piping, to extend the roadway, then that mailbox is subject to being torn down, and there would be no, we would not be obligated to repay the homeowner the cost of putting it there.
And as far as the mailbox itself, though, you'd be in conflict with the federal law.
Well, no, the mailbox could just be relocated onto the owner's property. Now, the reason that typically cities allow mailboxes along the right-of-way is for the convenience of the mail carrier.
And if you're not so many inches back, that mail carrier lets you know, because he won't leave your mail.
Exactly.
So best just go ahead and do what to say.
Best be for us to cut the grass.
Yeah, cut the grass in at 18 inches, absolutely.
Well, most homeowners have enough pride in their property to keep the grass cut.
Can I call for a vote, Mr. President?
Please.
Okay, is that all, Billy?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other new business?
Oh, we need to vote
Oh,
on
no,
it.
Yeah, we gotta vote.
We didn't vote on it.
We haven't voted on it?
We haven't voted yet. Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay, any other new business?
Robert's up.
Y'all go ahead, I'm trying to find mine.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a couple of items I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider. The first one is an ordinance amending section 2432 to add a certain provision for procurement funded by the FTA. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to consider this.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have a unanimous vote for consent.
I'll ask for passage, please.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Oh, this is just something to deal with the money that the Federal Transit Administration we use in the city, and it's pertaining to third parties, so it's that federal money that we have to jump through the hoops to use.
Any other? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
I have another ordinance I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider. It's amending City Code 7490 and 7491 and adding a special chamber license for Riverfest vendors and adding license classification 4547, 4548, and 4549. We'll ask for unanimous consent to consider this this morning.
Second.
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted by unanimous vote.
Now I'll ask for passage. please.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
This is just a special license that our vendors are being able to get at a reduced price during Riverfest, so it's pertaining to the vendors down there.
Any others? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Any other new business?
Mr. President, I have one I'd like to ask for unanimous consent for, please. It's a resolution authorizing agreement to extend the 2010 roadside and drainage ditch herbicide application project for 1 year, and it's budgeted for $68,666.06.
Second.
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I'm making a motion to adopt, please.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, what this is some of the roadways and the drainage ditches that we spray every year. It's been an ongoing project. I've got some of the lists of the streets where they're going to spray from. A lot of them's around the railroad tracks that we're going to try to keep all those weeds and stuff off a bunch of railroad tracks we have in the city of Gadsden. There's some right-of-ways also on there. If you want a list of them, you can see the clerk's office. She'll have a complete list of these streets. And if there's any street that shouldn't be on there, we just have to let Public Works know about the streets that we need to put on there.
Any other discussion?
Is it possible that we can get that listed on the Channel 99?
Channel 99,
Yeah.
we will see Shane and see if we can't do that.
Because there's a question, that's what I was talking about earlier, about right-of-ways and making sure that the city take care and do what they're supposed to do on them, so.
We do still cut the right-of-ways. Some of the right-of-ways we do cut with our three-man crew of tractors. We do that, we do it every year. As we're going through there, we got 3 tractors and each follows each one. We do the ditches and stuff on the roadsides. And some of these are just harder and we try to spray them.
Yeah, well, I don't want the one going up 8th Street sprayed, I just want it cut on a regular basis. But anyway, I shouldn't have said
We
that, I'm
can,
sorry.
We can put that one on the list. I mean, all we do is
Okay.
tell Public Works, if you'll get me that address and everything,
Okay,
I'll see that it gets on there.
all right. I'll give you all the other list too.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay, Robert.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a resolution authorizing agreement with Rapid Scan for security equipment for the Gadsden Municipal Court. I'd ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Now I'd ask for passage.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, this is scanning machine and all the necessary equipment that will be needed to install at the new municipal court building over at Weaver Tech building. And I understand it's the most modern, up-to-date, a little bit more modern than what we got here at City Hall. So we're just happy to get this installed so we can get the courts up and running over there as soon as possible.
Any other? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any other new business?
And, Mr. President, I have one. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider. It's an ordinance 45. It's amending 98-40 of the city code, and this is hours restricted for soliciting.
Second.
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted by unanimous vote.
Okay, a move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. President, this is changing the hours of solicitation from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. at night. We're changing it to 9 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. at night. Basically, that's what it's for, but it is controlling solicitation in the neighborhoods during those hours.
Any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any other new business? Department reports, committees, boards, are there any? Remarks by the mayor and the council. Due to the National League of Cities Conference, the council will not meet on March the 11th. Billy?
No comments, Mr. President.
Robert?
Mr. President, I just want to remind the public that the legislature is still in session. They're in Montgomery today. I got a day ahead. I went down yesterday. But you never know what's going to come out of Montgomery at this point in time. We've got several local bills that are very interesting to a lot of our citizenry. And I'm hoping that our legislative delegation is going to do the right thing when it comes down to dealing with those issues. The windmill did pass out. It passed out of the Senate. The windmill bill passed out of the Senate, and hopefully we're going to be able to get the House to do it. I don't know. Jenny, if it's okay, can you give us a quick report on where we are in the House with that? Is there a possibility?
Not much to say, but
Well, just bring us up to date anyway.
the Senate did vote last week and passed the Wind Energy Conversion Systems Regulation Bill, also known as SB 12. By a wide margin, it was widely supported, and it's poised to come up for a vote in the House soon. Don't know a calendar timeline yet, but it's up to the House now.
But, I mean, what about our local delegation, as far as our local and the ones in Cherokee County, the other ones? Is there any opposition that you're aware of from?
Not for the delegations of both counties, no.
Okay.
No.
That's very important.
That I'm aware of.
Okay.
None's been expressed to me.
Okay. Because
Don't want to speak for them.
Yeah, I
Just none's been expressed to me.
like I said, I was in Montgomery yesterday and talked to several people there at the State House about that particular bill.
Thank you.
And then, of course, we've got thank you, and we've got the 7-day sales coming up. So talk to your representatives about both bills, because both of those bills are very, very important to people here in the city of Gadsden and to Etowah County. That's all I have.
We're gonna get rid of the sales tax and just keep on. We're gonna just get rid of the sales tax and we keep on adding a day here and a day there.
You hear the latest one, Mr. President?
Oh.
Sales tax on guns and ammo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sales tax,
that was one of our
holiday
local.
for the sale of guns and ammunition.
I think it's a very good idea.
That was by one of our local delegates.
Yes.
Delegation, by members of the delegation.
Hey,
But we can't get rid of but we can't get rid of the tax on food. How about that? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, Bill.
I'd just like to say a word of thanks to Senator Williams. He looks like he's moving both those bills in the right direction. In fact, our whole delegation seems to be moving in a very favorable position, so we appreciate that. That's all I have.
Johnny.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to let everyone know that the Alabama City Merchants Association has been working for the last year and a half on Wall Street down there. We're fixing to put in some decorative lights, hopefully on Wall Street down there, down one side. And we're going to put up a marquee that's something similar to the one down here at Park Recreation's got on Big End Boulevard. It's a little bit smaller. Working on doing that. We're working on doing some other little stuff down in Alabama City on Wall Street down there. We will have the singing starting in April, the third Saturday in April. We'll have the concerts every Saturday, the third Saturday, and they're going to start at 6 o'clock all the way through September. So y'all just put that on the calendar. Remember to come. That's all I got.
All right. I do want to thank the council for passing this permit on solicitors and peddlers, especially the hours, because it'll keep people from knocking on your door after dark, number one. This didn't, and I want to go back to it, you do have to be permitted in the city of Gadsden in order to solicit. And if somebody comes to your door and knocks on it regardless of the hour, of course, he's in violation at 5 p.m., he better show you a permit. If he doesn't, tell him he's got to leave. If you don't leave, just call the police and he'll be taken care of at that point. But I think it's very important that people either put a sign up, no soliciting. I believe that's in the ordinance, isn't it, Lee? That you can put a no soliciting sign up at your door, and they're not supposed to be there anyway, permit or not. But in my district, we've had vacuum cleaner salesmen, we've had driveway pavers, any number of people that came by to solicit who were there only to case your house and come back later and burglarize it. And I think it's just as important that you keep an eye on these people, permitted or not, but more so non-permitted, and get them off your property as quickly as possible. But thank y'all for passing it. I think it's going to be seed up, be good.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. I did have one item caught me off guard that when you called me first, I thought you were going to start over that bin. And by then, I would have had something to say by the time it got around to me. But because I had something on my mind, and I just decided not to go into it because it was an issue that was some disfavor with me that happened. But the only thing I'll say today is that remember Litchfield Middle School is moving forward. PTO, parent, teacher, student, PTSO, Mr. DeRamus will be held what day? It's okay. There's a flyer going out now. Please look for that date. I think it's next week. Well, it may be this week. But anyway, listen. Look Thursday of this week. Parent-teacher organization at Litchfield at 5:30 in the library. So those of you who are interested in making sure that we continue to move forward at Litchfield, please show up there. Thank you.
Okay. If there's not anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.